Okay, so right now we're in about the beginning of January. We're in the peak of pomegranate season, and I've kind of went through the batch we bought and picked out the smaller ones and like the uglier ones that we don't like to serve and just eat as a fruit. So I'm just gonna juice these using these press, and you can see the color here. I've already sanitized this, and I'm gonna use these juices to fill out the bottle, and then later on add the other things. Okay, so just a quick note, you might get like different pomegranates in your batch. Like you have this one here that's like bright red. I'm not really sure in the US or Northern America you can get like these really sweet red pomegranates. Like here in the Middle East, like the variety that we have here is a lot sweeter and like a lot juicier than the ones they have there. Uh, you also get these like slightly brighter ones. These are perfectly fine to use in your batch. Like you could use them. Sometimes they even tend to be a little sweeter. Also, just watch out for like some rotten ones. Like you can see this bit here is kind of went brown. You can either just cut off this half and use the other half, but I would just suggest just getting rid of all of it. And sometimes you get like really bad ones that like this one is just it's completely off and it's just unusable. Just discard these and just use the ones that you would like normally eat. Okay, so I just finished pressing all the pomegranate juice, and this is a 12-liter uh, tank. I think it's originally meant for like storing rice, but this is what I use it for. It comes with a plastic lid, which I'm going to show later on. Uh, for the 12 liter, this is going to like hold like 10 liters because you're going to need a little space on top to just allow the fermentation. This is about 4.5 liters, 5 liters of juice. I didn't measure out the pomegranates in the beginning. I don't know how much they weigh, but I think about it was about 5 or 6 kilos, or maybe a bit more of pomegranate juice, maybe about 10 kilos. Okay, so I got these sweet black raisins here. I'm just gonna give them a wash before using them. Pretty sweet. It kind of adds to the flavor of it. So now that the raisins are nice and clean, I'm just gonna pour some boiling water on it. I'm using about like 700 grams of these raisins for a 10-liter batch. And I'm just gonna let them soak for like an hour. After an hour, you can kind of see that they're starting to just absorb that water and get a little bit bigger. Okay, here's the syrup that I prepared. It's about 5 liters of water and 600 grams of brown sugar and 600 grams of just regular white granulated sugar, and just kind of put it over the stove just to help it dissolve. It's not boiling. And these are the raisins that I've been soaking in boiling water. Just starting to just kind of release some color into the water and just grow a little bit in volume. Okay, so I'm about to pitch the yeast now. I'm just using Lalvin D47 Wine Yeast. This is what I've used before. It works pretty well. I I think you can use like regular like active dry yeast, but those things tend to make it taste a bit more beery and kind of more sour. So I don't know. Maybe you should try it. Okay, so here's the fermentation chamber that I've prepared. It's like filled up to here, which is like 10 liters out of the 12. Once the raisins start to like plump back up, they're going to just float to the top and it's going to get overflowed if you fill it up too much. Okay, this is my yeast mixture. It's just some water and just a couple of sugar cubes just to get it going. I'm just going to put it in. Just make sure that your mixture isn't too cold or too warm from the earlier warming up. So once you pitch it in, the fermentation could just start and take over. Okay, so right now I'm about to put the lid on. I've filled out the S-shaped airlock up to about the max point over there. And you can see I've put this sealing paste over here just to seal everything up. Make sure nothing gets out right. Okay, I'm just gonna close it on tight. Okay, so it's been about 36 hours. You can see there's a lot of activity now. You can see our activity like here, there's like little bubbles popping over there. If you're not seeing like these air going out the airlock, it's probably because you don't have a like nice tight seal over there. So make sure you check your seal. I'm using this sealant paste over here. Also, you can see the raisins that I mentioned earlier. They've grown a little bit and they're just floating to the top. So make sure you leave a little headspace over there. Okay, so it's been about 3 days now. You can see that it's really active right now. And I've kind of opened it up and crushed those raisins with my hand. It kind of helps it develop more flavors and better colors. Alright, so we are at day 5 in fermentation. I've just opened up the lid and used my hand to crush these little raisins. It just helps with releasing more flavor and more color. You can see that it's not really active. I'm just going to let this go for another like 10 to 15 days, depending on how much the fermentation is going to take. We are in day 11 of fermentation. You can see the activity has slowed down quite significantly, like it takes 1 or 2 seconds for the bubble to reach out of the airlock. I'm going to continue like shaking it for a couple more days. It's not, I really doubt that the fermentation is going to take any longer than 2 or 3 more days. I'm probably going to start racking it in about a week. Okay, so we are at the 2 weeks mark of the alcoholic fermentation. There's very, very little activity. You can see there's like a bubble like every minute. The color is pretty beautiful now. I'm gonna start racking it this in about 4 or 5 days. Overall, pomegranate's got a lot of sediment compared to like cider. It doesn't set as quickly. For example, you can see it in this batch. This is about sitting about 2 months. You can see it's got a pretty beautiful color, but after about 2 times racking every 3 weeks, I still got some sediment in the bottom. Okay, so it's been about 20 days since we started. It's been about 5 days roughly that the bubbling has stopped. There's no activity any longer. There's a really good amount of sediment on the bottom. I'm just going to use this siphoning pump that I'm just sanitizing over here to rack it into this 10-liter collapsible jug. Okay, so I've opened it up. The grapes have floated to the top. I'm just going to use this spatula to remove them to this. I just use them for like salad toppings and stuff. It's got a nice vinegary taste after it kind of oxidizes. Okay, I'm just using this siphoning pump. Just make sure you don't stir it too much. You don't want all those sediments stirred back into the liquid after it's been settled. It's going to help get your wine a lot quicker to get it really nice and clear. Just do it really gently and slowly. No rushing here. Okay, so we are done siphoning. This is the final yield. It's about 10 liters. Just under 10 liters. There's still about a liter of gunk under there. You don't want that in your wine. It's going to make it really cloudy. It's going to take a lot longer to get it clear after racking. And these are the grapes I told you can use it for like salad dressings and stuff. Okay, so it's been about 3 weeks since I've put the wine in this plastic container. I'm sanitizing another one to transfer it into that and start the first racking. You can see that there's on the bottom it's become kind of gray. That's just the sediment from the pomegranate and the yeast. So you just want to transfer it from the top. I'm going to show you how to get rid of that and get it clearer. Here's the siphoning process. I'm just connecting the lid from this one with a hose to the other one on the bottom. I'm just using that glass jug to keep it steady. And I'm just going to press here once the air is out and the siphoning starts. And it draws from the top so you don't get that sediment on the bottom into the next batch. Okay, here's the siphoning process. You don't have to press it anymore. I use this method. Alex from French Guy Cooking uses this method. Overall, he's got a great series on like an introduction to winemaking. I'm using a lot of the techniques he uses. You can see a good color of your wine at this stage. Okay, so here's the wine after the first siphoning. I'm going to give it a test. Also, if you have any sulfites, this is the time to add it now in between these siphonings. You're going to need to do this about 2 more times at least to get it nice and clear. With about 1 month in between every time. And this is the sediment that was left in the bottom of the container. You can see it's really cloudy and it's got some bits of the grapes that we used. I'm just going to discard this. You can't put this in a new container, like a tall glass container, and just wait for it to settle again and keep on doing that, but I'm just not going to do that. Okay, we are at the third and final siphoning. The wine is starting to get really clear. I'm going to show you how it looks. Okay, so I've drawn out some of the wine into this glass. You can see it's starting to get clearer. It's not as clear as it should be yet, but it's going to be perfectly clear after the egg white fining and the cold stabilization is done. Okay, so we are in the beginning of April and we are at the 3-month mark. And I'm doing the final racking. You can see there I'm transferring it back to the original jug, which I'm going to put in the fridge for about 3 days and add the egg whites, get the cold stabilization done. Right, this is the point that the siphoning stops, and you can see that I'm going to show you inside what it looks like, all the sediment that's settled on the inside. You can see it's like a really dark and kind of cloudy mixture. We're just going to dispose of that. I have done like transferring it to a new taller, slimmer jug and then let it sit again and then again and again if you just want to maximize your yield, but I'm not going to do it this time. Okay, so this is the final yield. It's about 16 liters. And I'm going to add about 3/4 of the egg white for the whole thing. I'm just going to transfer it to the fridge for about 3 days to settle and then start bottling it. Okay, so just for comparison reference, this is before the final fining and bottling. It doesn't have much sediment left, but it's kind of cloudy, so it's going to be nice and clear after that. Okay, so I've put the wine in the back of the fridge for about 2 or 3 days. I've put this piece of plastic on top to make sure I don't get any air in or air out of it. So I've got a pretty nice seal over there. Okay, so it's been about like 5 hours. You can see that there's this gray sediment in the bottom. That's gonna continue setting until like tomorrow, but after that I'm just gonna keep it for another day just to be sure. Okay, so we are at the final stage. I've taken the batch out of the fridge. It's been about 4 days in the fridge. I'm using these old tequila bottles to fill them up with this siphoning pump. If you want to get it more clear, you can use like a coffee filter, but I don't feel like it. So I'm gonna go with this and finish this up. Right here you can get a clear look of the liquid that's gotten real clear. You can see it in the siphoning pump here. It's kind of nice and clear. You can use products like bentonite and stuff like that to get it like as clear as possible, but with like what I had in hand, this is like the best I can get. Okay, so we're at about the last 4 or 5 liters here. I'm gonna siphon them into these 3-liter tanks, and then I'm gonna freeze distill them, which is gonna help them get clearer since the last bit tends to be a bit cloudier. And after that, I'm gonna make about like a fortified wine out of these. It's gonna help with the longevity of it, and it's gonna get a clearer product out of the cloudy bit at the end. Okay, so here's the last bit. You can see the wine in the straw is all cloudier, which is gonna really need that freeze distilling that we're gonna do. Okay, so this is my final yield of this year. I've gotten about 12 liters out of it. I've already sent out 2 1-liter ones out as gifts. And the 2 on the right is about 4 liters. I'm going to use the freeze distilling technique on it to get it nice and clear. And the other ones, I'm just going to let it age until summer. Okay, so here's a peek at the final product, which I've drawn just now. It is going to get clearer by time. About like a few months, it's going to keep crystallizing in your bottles, and it's going to get nice and clear. I'm happy with it the way it is now. It should taste like it does. Oh, God damn it. It's got a nice, crisp, fruity flavor to it and a nice aroma. Just give it a try and see what you like with the sugar amounts. After a couple of batches, you'll find out eventually like what's going to fit your taste. And this is the remnants of the bottle, which I'm going to discard. You can see how cloudy it is. It doesn't really taste different, I guess. It's just really bitter on the tongue and doesn't have a nice mouthfeel to it. Okay, guys, so we are at the end of our journey. It's been about 4 months. I'm gonna let this age for a few more months, and I'm gonna open the first bottle in the end of summer. This is a winter wine, so if you're looking for like other recipes on pomegranate wine, I haven't found anything on YouTube really on pomegranate, but Alex, French Guy Cooking, has an amazing wine tutorial for like the absolute beginner if you're into winemaking. So that's a really good point to get starting. But after that, you just have to kind of adjust with the amounts and see what really fits your taste and what you're going to enjoy the most. So just keep on trying and see what you like. And I hope you've found this video helpful. And let me know what you think in the comments. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.